Hello everybody, this is Swiss from the DCL Ventures YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to cover a topic that I've covered before, but this is going to be just a quick update on an important topic for everyone starting out in Decentraland. Let's talk about the two marketplaces that we have available where you can buy and sell wearables, or some people call this stuff just clothing and accessories. And yeah, let's get started with this just after the intro. All right, everybody, let's switch over to the second screen. And we're looking at the actual native Decentraland marketplace that most of you have seen when you started out in Decentraland. You actually land on the site, you get your name, you start figuring out how stuff works, and then eventually you stumble upon the marketplace tab and you see this kind of stuff in front of you. You're probably extremely excited and you buy your first item, and then at some point later down the line you discover that there is actually a second marketplace that were not aware of, especially if you're not from the NFT space. And this is exactly what happened to me. And a couple of days later, I discovered this other marketplace. And it is actually quite overwhelming at first because there are a lot of different options, a lot of different projects. But once you put your head down and you actually learn the platform, you will realize that the OpenSea marketplace is quite superior to the actual native Decentraland marketplace. And today I want to cover a couple of these advantages of OpenSea versus Decentraland marketplace. And I think a lot of these advantages are quite obvious, and many of those are widely known. But I just want to have a video on my channel that kind of covers some of these basics from A to Z. Now, hopefully I will cover the most important stuff. There are a couple of things which are tough to remember, so bear with me. So, okay, what is the big difference between these two? I think the key word right now is fees. Fees are astronomically high right now. You will have to pay for each Ethereum transaction, and these costs are just overwhelming right now, and they almost brought the whole ecosystem to a halt. However, somehow miraculously trading continues and people are paying those fees because they're passionate about the project, because they're seeing the potential. And I would say if you plan on sticking around in Decentraland and if you plan on buying and selling stuff going forward, you have to get comfortable with the OpenSea marketplace because the fees will almost reduce to zero as you move forward. And now let's explain that. Well, look, on the native marketplace, whenever you list something for sale, you pay a fee. When you delist something, you pay a fee. When you want to reduce or update the price downward, you have to pay a smaller fee. Nevertheless, you pay a fee. So it gets quite expensive to list and manage your listings in the listing life cycle, right? Sometimes you maybe want to charge a little bit too much and you realize that, and then you have to update the listing, or there is a competitive listing that has underbid you and you want to adjust. If these fees become too high, you become inflexible and the marketplace starts to stall. And this is what we see sometimes happening. And on the OpenSea marketplace, this dynamic has been, dealt with by introducing a couple of mechanisms where you can give permission to OpenSea to buy and sell a certain collection, and you pay a fee for the very first time when you register your right to trade a specific collection. But then going forward, whenever you want to sell an item from that collection, it becomes free. You can just list it free of charge. If you want to adjust your price downward in a registered collection like that, it's free. And it's not free on the native marketplace. Now, there is, of course, the situation where you want to up your price. In that situation, you have to cancel your OpenSea listing and you do have to pay a fee there. But you do not pay a fee to relist the item at a higher price. Whereas on the original marketplace, you will have to pay that relisting fee again. And those fees can really make a trade unprofitable if you're buying and selling stuff for a profit. Okay, so these are the two main differences. Now, another difference is that you have more currencies available in which you can list Decentraland items on the OpenSea marketplace. On the original marketplace, you can only trade in mana, which is kind of logical. But on the OpenSea marketplace, you can also use Ethereum. And roughly 25% of listings are in Ethereum and or in Ether, you say, actually, in Ether. And this is sometimes really important, especially if you want to appeal to Ethereum-rich customers, right? And some of those customers, they come over from other NFT projects and they hold Ethereum. And some people just only hold Ethereum and don't have any mana. And the fees for swapping from one currency to the other on Uniswap may be astronomical at that point in time. So having an offer in Ethereum can be an advantage. And this is only possible on the OpenSea marketplace. So I think these are the core differences. Now, how do these two marketplaces work together? Well, I think the most important difference is that when you list something on the original marketplace, it will also be visible on the OpenSea marketplace. So this is kind of cool. That's important. That means you do pay that high fee here, but you also have a listing on the OpenSea marketplace. So I think this works really well, because if you list something on the OpenSea marketplace, it will not be visible on the original marketplace. And this can be tricky because you will not see what is available for sale if you are not aware of that other market and if you really only check this platform here. So it works one way, but not the other way around. And I think that's an important detail to know. Another thing that I would like to mention is that the customers looking at these products are usually newer users and they may not be aware of the other marketplace, and they're likely to be ready to pay a little more because they do not see the full supply of products. So you could try to take advantage of this sometimes. However, you will pay a lot of fees to do so. So I would only recommend this to very experienced traders, not necessarily to everyone just starting out. I think for most people, this marketplace would be the go-to place. Let me check my list. Do we have anything else? So, okay. Yeah, I think the only thing that I will cover here in this particular video is rarity types, collections, and non-minted stuff. All right, let's do that. So on the OpenSea marketplace, you have all sorts of criteria that you can filter by. And you do have some of these here as well on the original marketplace, where you can filter by rarity type. And this is probably the most important distinctions between the different NFTs. Right? So you will have Mythic, which is the currently most rare type. There may be a unique rarity type coming up soon. We have seen 2 instances just last week where unique items have been minted. We do not necessarily know what the role of those will be and how those will be licensed. So for now, we can just safely ignore those, but there's a good chance there's going to be another one. But for now, Mythic is the most rare item type in Decentraland, meaning 10 items maximum, 100 for legendary, 1,000 for epic, 5,000 for rare, and 10,000 for uncommon. So this is the split. And you have, of course, the same kind of filter here at the bottom under rarity. However, you also have other filters here like the collections. And in order to get how the collections work, you do have to have a little bit of experience first, because each time there is an event and Decentraland publishes some sort of wearable along with that event, those wearables or those collection of wearables will be denominated in a specific collection category, if you will, and these are mentioned here. So when they really just launched the platform, they had the DCL launch collection, and you could just filter for those, or you can go to something really recent, the XMS 2020, and just filter for these items. So this is a very cool feature that you have here on OpenSea that you do not have on the Decentraland marketplace. And while we are at this, there is actually one detail that I did not plan on mentioning, but since this is so obvious here, one additional advantage of the OpenSea marketplace is that you have the minting numbers available here. So you do not have these on the original marketplace, you do have these here. Now for the majority of the users, this will not be important, but there was a time in Decentraland where people did pay attention to these mint numbers, giving more value to mint number 1 and mint number 2, and sometimes giving more value to mint number 100, let's say, if it's out of 100. So there was a time where this played a role. I think right now the market has advanced significantly, and people do not really care about these particular details, but you will realize that some people are still listing items which are first mint significantly at a much more significant price level, let's say it like that. So maybe this is something that you may want to know, that it is visible here and not on the original marketplace, but this is just as a side note. Let's quickly finish the filters. So of course you have all these currencies available. Sometimes you only have Ether to spend and you do want to filter by Ether. I think this is very convenient. And these items we do have available also on these categories we have available also on the original marketplace. So there is no difference there. So I think this kind of covers the OpenSea marketplace and its advantages. Definitely make sure you use that buy now filter when you are looking for stuff to buy, because otherwise you will have way too many results. And is there anything else that I would like to mention? Maybe this sort by function if you're looking for the cheapest items. I think this is kind of the workflow that you have. You log in, you look for Decentraland wearables, and then you filter down based on your needs, and then you sort based on what's driving your decisions. And if you click the buy now button, you will only see that stuff that is actually for sale, unless you're someone who likes to place bids. And placing bids can be an effective strategy, but you have to be patient, and you cannot be seeking immediate satisfaction from a purchase. This will be more a strategic play where you place bids in the hope of potentially buying an item at a under market value, for example. So I think, guys, I'm going to stop here. I think I've covered everything. Yes, I did. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so now. I'm not the most entertaining content producer in the space, and I do sometimes struggle to pick up a like or two for my videos. So if you do like this content, if this was useful to you, please do share the love. I would appreciate this very much. And I would also like to say thank you to everyone who has talked and mentioned their appreciation for the content in world. This is always very, very rewarding. Thank you, guys. I talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.